Jimmy Kimmel is back. So, how are you?
I'm tired. I'm glad it's Friday tomorrow.
Nearly the end of the week. We can be glad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a week.
No, you've not been feeling very well.
After our wonderful trip up to Orkney and then came back and,
Had the lurgy.
Had the lurgy, indeed. So last week we were talking about Jimmy Kimmel being kind of taken off air and losing his job. And
now he's back.
Now he is back. Why is he back?
Boycotts work.
Yeah.
These corporations don't like to lose money, so I think we need to remember that we have that power as a collective.
So, and of course that's the reason why they made the decision in the first place, was about money.
Yeah.
It wasn't, none of this is about principles or morals or anything like that. It was because they were looking at a merger
right?
deal and
they need the government's approval and
Trump in fact they need the government to change the law, I think.
Oh, really?
In order to make what they want to do go ahead. And
Trump was up front, and I mean he's not hiding any of the authoritarian power grab stuff these days. I mean, after Colbert was fired, he gloated about that, and said Jimmy Kimmel will be next.
Yeah. And he went out after Jimmy Kimmel had his show was taken off the air and said, right, next it's going to be the other
Seth
folks
Meyers and who's the other guy? I forget.
I can't remember what the other guy is.
But yes.
Come back to me,
Yeah. Doesn't want, which is exactly what Putin and Orban did, right? You take off people who are satirizing you. You can't,
So all those folks that cancelled their Disney Plus subscription.
Well done.
That worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it should stay canceled. Like I just don't see rewarding these companies. Need to know that we actually want to have a democracy and we don't want a government that is telling people what they can and can't say. And that's really fundamental. So I wouldn't be resubscribing to Disney.
Did you watch Jimmy Kimmel's his monologue for his show when he came back on air? So he had quite a funny bit in it where he pulled out a statement saying, there is something that I have had to do from my, those above me, and they want me to read this statement. And the statement was, in order to resubscribe to Disney Plus, follow this link.
Yeah, don't. I would say don't. You kind of want these companies to know that actually we're not going to put up with you bending the knee, and we will hit back. And the only way we can hit back really is to cancel, is to not buy from companies that are kowtowing to Trump and allowing him to ride roughshod over our democracy. Because
it really does all come down to money.
Yeah.
And so it's where who uses their money. So for the individuals, the billionaires that control all of these organizations, because they have vast wealth as individuals, but the population has huge power if it decides to use it corporately together. Indeed.
So that's a little bit of hope, isn't it?
We'll see. I mean, it just makes you wonder a little bit if it means that the next steps are just not going to be as overt, because the overt thing creates such a backlash, and so they've got to do things a bit more subtly.
But when has the Trump administration ever been subtle about anything?
So speaking of which, this week we had Trump back at the United Nations presenting himself and the United States of America to the rest of the world.
And as an American, it is mortifying. And I could only bring myself to watch the clips. I couldn't bring myself to watch the whole thing. It's so embarrassing.
So it started off quite funnily, though.
Really? What happened?
Well, so as he arrived with Melania and all of his crew, now what is it with Trump and escalators? There's a thing with Trump and escalators. Of course, back in 2015 when he launched his campaign in Trump Tower, he comes, sort of glides. I mean, no one can look cool on an escalator, I think. This sort of gliding down thing or gliding up, it's just not a cool
Not
look.
An alpha thing to do.
No, striding 2 steps at a time would be the alpha thing to do, right? So he gets to the escalator and then it stops.
I think I did see a clip of that.
Yeah. They just sort of are standing at the bottom of this escalator,
and then decided
sort of looking around before Melania then starts to walk up it. And then there was this absolute hoo-ha because he then, of course, after the event, posts about it with, it's all like a conspiracy to try to get me, and all the failures there, and I mean,
it's always making a victim narrative, isn't it? Crazy.
It was unbelievable. His post had a whole bit about, I mean, what if we had fallen on these hard metal edges, and it was an emergency stop on the thing, and then the cruncher here is, of course, there's all this tirade, and Caroline Levitt
got into it as well,
saying, it's a conspiracy and the Secret Service are going to be investigating this. It may well have been one of their own videographers who accidentally hit the stop button. Because, of course, every escalator has an emergency stop on it for safety.
And incompetence from the Trump administration, that's kind of what you expect, isn't it? Yes. So that wouldn't surprise me at all.
And then the other thing that he was going on and on about was the teleprompter. Didn't work when he got up to do his. In fact, there were 2 other things. I hadn't heard the third one. I was just looking at this earlier. The teleprompter didn't work for the first 10 minutes or so. And so he was going on and on about how ridiculous that was and how awful it was. Now, is it me, or did he not go on and on and on about Barack Obama?
And having to use,
and blah blah, and so
we're never consistent as well. Like consistency, not a thing.
Exactly. You'd think he'd take it as a matter of, I don't need a teleprompter anyway, whatever, But no, moan. And the other thing was, apparently, I thought this was actually really funny. Apparently, I mean, this is him reporting this, Trump, on his social media.
Yeah.
He'd asked Melania after, how do you think I did? And she said, I couldn't hear a thing you said. I don't know, she was just channeling her own.
I suspect she wasn't listening.
Well, so apparently there was no, because of course in the UN, everyone's, most folks have got the headphones on. So there was no PA audio because everyone's using their headphones. So if you didn't have a headphone on in that huge space, you wouldn't really hear.
But that's a handy thing to say, isn't it? Where you don't have to lie.
Exactly.
About how good.
Yes, Donald, I did not hear a thing you said. Anyway, so, however, what he actually said there was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, completely
seems
bonkers.
About right.
So
for where we are as a world.
Yeah. And we remember the last time he got up to, well, not the last, but in the first term when he spoke at the United Nations, and he had this whole bit about how America is the most successful country in the world now that he's president, and there was a titter of laughter in amongst the everyone there. Well, that kind of laughing at was not there. It just seems like the desperate realization of
that this is really bad.
Yeah, this is no longer just funny that we kind of laugh at. This is deeply unfunny.
Yeah,
what it means for the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, autocracies stick together, don't they? And if the United States, as the world's last remaining superpower, I guess China as well, but if it falls to autocracy, and you can see it because isn't he's doing a bailout for his pal down in one of the South American countries where they've been trying it's this far right government where they've been instituting these libertarian ideals, and the economy has all just gone to pot. So the U.S. is going to bail them out, right? We don't have money for cancer research in our own country, but we can bail out kind of foreign far-right extremists.
You cancel USAID, and
saving millions of lives,
but instead we'll channel money to folks that are sympathetic to your cause.
Yeah, which is anti-democratic. Anyway, so I think the whole world can see, the democratic world can see how.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic and it's embarrassing, but it's deeply, deeply dangerous as well.
Yeah, so that was kind of overriding thing, listening to what he was saying. There was an appeal in what he was saying to do as we are doing, I guess.
Goodness.
And so he was talking about immigration policies and the kind of hardline immigration policy that they are using, and saying Europe is falling apart because it's not using the same kind of immigration policies, and he actually. He went on. We mentioned last week, didn't we, about the boats from Venezuela that they are just blowing up out of
killing
the water.
People. On Trump's say so, we are murdering people.
Yeah, and this is going, and it's deliberately going around.
Oh my goodness,
so it's normally the U.S. Coast Guard that deals with this sort of thing, and they're deliberately working around the U.S. Coast Guard and using the Navy, I think it is, or so it's not the same law enforcement agency that you would normally have doing these actions. So he actually talked about that in a positive way, and look, see, this is working, and I was listening to that and thinking, how would we feel in the UK if the British government send out Apache helicopters into the Channel and rain down Hellfire missiles on the folks that are coming across the Channel on dinghies? That's the equivalent of what he's talking about there. I suppose in the States case, there's a layer of the drug trafficking as part of it,
but it's his say so.
Yeah,
there's no
idea.
proof.
We have no idea.
And the thing is, he's killing people that he says are trafficking drugs. Trafficking drugs is not a death penalty thing. Even if you believe in the death penalty, which I don't. But, I just was reading today an article by Robert Reich about this, and he was saying, this is dangerous because he is killing people without any evidence of wrongdoing, on his say-so alone. If we normalize this and we accept it, he's not stopping there. We don't know who he's killed. We don't know how many people he's killed. There's been no evidence of anything, only his word. And we all know how good Donald Trump's word is. Right? So who is he going to start killing next? Because he says that they're doing bad things without any proof. This is really dangerous, dangerous stuff.
Yeah. And of course, there are flavors of it here. So you've frequently hear folks on the right talking about that the Navy should be involved in turning around the boats and sending them back to France. Well, how would you do that? How does that work? Where and at what point does violent force get drawn in? Well, that's already happening in the States. So and that the point being that he was talking about that as a model for others. This is what we all should be doing if you want to keep your countries great, or make your companies companies. There you go, Freudian slip right there.
Yeah, very
country great. The other thing he was going on about was the climate change, just describing it flat out as a scam.
Oh my goodness.
And saying that countries
depressing.
that are investing in renewable energy are going to see their economy crash.
Which is just nonsensical on the face of it. Mm-hmm. Even if climate change isn't a thing, renewables is surely the way to go, because actually fossil fuels are not renewable, which means they are going to run out. Definitionally, they are going to run out. So we need renewable energy. I mean, like, it's just crazy.
And oil and gas that is subsidized massively, of course, which that bit always seems to be missed out when we talk about the subsidies that go to renewables, and they do, because sometimes that's what you need to do to get a business up and running. Why do you give subsidies to an old business that has made billions?
Because their owners have bought and paid for you. That's why you do it. Oh, it's just depressing.
Yeah, I just found it really, and it's with him. It's so much of it is just his personal grievance. He's still annoyed about the wind farm that we have here in Aberdeen because you can see it from his golf course.
Yeah, and it spoils the view.
He was so angry about that. And so, I mean, to heck with the world, because I'm annoyed about the view from a golf course. Oh, it's just depressing, utterly depressing.
It is, because that's our kids and grandkids and future generations. It's their future, right? That we're not thinking about, and we're not doing enough to protect. Oh, no, it's just, it reminds me of that. I think I told you about that book that I read that's called Ministry for the Future. I can't remember who it's by. It's such an interesting idea. And it is all about climate change. And they set up in the book this ministry for the future that was going to be the voice for future generations, because obviously all of the choices that we're making now are going to impact future generations more than it's going to impact us. So it was trying to. It's been an interesting book if anyone's.
I haven't.
But yes, I just wish we're so short-sighted, and we're just making these short-term choices that are going to be devastating. For maybe the end of our lifetime, but then our children's lifetime and future generations, we're just, it's so selfish.
Yeah, and while there are changes that are happening, and there is obviously this developments towards greater renewables. I mean, you see it in the mix of energy here in Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, frequently it is completely renewable now. The energy mix when you got a windy day,
which we have
lots of. I mean, it's just powering everything. So that's.
But why isn't the whole world grasping that and running with it? It just, more new renewable jobs and renewable energy, and then it will, the more we have it, the cheaper it becomes. And I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
And I think in many places it is.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why Trump is kicking back against it, because of all the oil and gas money. Yeah. And so he's fighting back and again trying to persuade other nations that no, you want to be like us and go backwards.
No, we don't.
It's crazy.
We really, really, really don't.
One of the other things he talked. So this is just after being here in the United Kingdom for this state visit, in which he was encapsulated in Windsor Castle, so that he didn't have to confront
all of the protesters.
Yeah, everyone outside saying "Away with you." He then, of course, attacks the UK, and
but that's what he does.
Yeah, specifically attacking Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of
and who's Muslim,
of London, who is
brown,
Muslim.
So we don't like him.
Darker skinned, and talking about Sharia law. This is just outright racism,
and it's ridiculous as well. I mean, Sadiq Khan is great. Like I did see on, I think, Thread, someone showing, it was numerous pictures of Sadiq Khan at London Pride. You were like, oh, and here is Sadiq Khan bringing in Sharia law, right? Like, I mean, it's just crazy stuff, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. So the reason why that exists, it was from 2020. There was this meme that went around on Facebook, which had a picture of Sadiq Khan, and then it had the quote from him, which was, "We are trialing Shakira law.
Oh, right.
So, misspell
Yeah.
of Sharia, Shakira law in 3 of London's boroughs right now. We will then roll it out in the remaining 30 next year. Of course, Sadiq Khan never said that. And yet it went. So here we've got Donald Trump still promulgating a meme from 5 years ago that, I mean, immediately was pulled out as this is not something that he said. So, yeah, that's...
But disinformation is the lifeblood of MAGA, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's creating this story that they want to hold on to. And... I mean, there are Sharia councils in parts of England and Wales, and I was just having there's a government report actually about them and how they operate from 2018, I think it was, and in that it says that over 90% of the people that go to a Sharia council are women seeking divorce.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that was news to me.
So they're a way of empowering women in that?
Well,
right?
it's because men can just
say I divorce you.
Yes, they can just have that, and it is called. Let me get this right here. I'm sure I took a wee note.
Talaq.
Yes, talaq. So it's like a unilateral divorce. And so unless the wife has that written into their kind of marriage contract that they can do the same, they can't, and they need to go to a Sharia council. And then there are 2 forms of ways they can go. One where the husband is in agreement, and the other where the husband would not be in agreement. So a decision can go either way, but it would be the kind of decision of the Sharia council within an Islamic marriage. So none of this overcomes civil law.
No.
Yeah. So this is a different thing. So I mean, it reminds me of I'd had, I think, a couple of times when we were previously in Blantyre of doing a remarriage and one of the folks had been married in the Catholic Church beforehand, and they had to go through an annulment. Right. So it kind of feels like it's maybe similar to that. In that the church's role is like this other role in that process, and here you've got that in the Muslim
the church
community.
only has that role if you decide that you want it to have that role in your life, right? So I guess these Sharia councils would only have that role in your life if you decided you wanted them to have that role in your life.
Yes, otherwise you'd be dependent on civil. You'd just use civil law processes.
So it's just.
So that's kind of where. They have no Sharia councils have no jurisdiction in kind of state
society
law or anything like that.
Yeah.
So this whole talk about Sharia law
is just scaremongering,
complete and utter scaremongering. Yeah. So there we go. So that was part. I mean, that's only a part of what Trump was talking about. Some examples of what he was saying, but the point is, he is trying to drag everyone down to his level, isn't he? That's part of the...
Well, he's trying to normalize his behavior, isn't it? Right? If you normalize... I mean, although he's been doing it very successfully in the States, I mean, you see it in the push... like when his horrendous posts where he just is so over the top ridiculous and so mean to everyone and so braggadocious about himself, and and we just accept it, and then you get Fox News having a conniption fit when Gavin Newsom in California mocks him, like holds up that, does the same thing, just holding up a mirror to say how ridiculous it was, and then he gets all these questions about, don't you think you should be more circumspect? And he's like, yeah, but why aren't we asking that of the man in the White House? Because he's been doing this for years. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. So he has normalized this horrendous behavior. And it's really quite sad when you think about people who are young adults now. They've spent their whole kind of awareness of politics with this kind of horrendous behavior being normalized. Yeah. So I don't know. He has quite successfully dragged the culture down with him.
For sure. I mean, that's what we were talking about some episodes ago about the Overton window shifting. He undoubtedly, I mean, not just in a kind of policy, but just in the level of
discourse. Yeah.
And so that's like, instead of an Overton window shifting left and right, it's going up and down and between kind of ethics and values down towards.
I mean, the corruption is just like blatant and incredibly over the top. And it just makes me so. I mean, the right wing got themselves knickers in a twist about Biden supposedly accepting bribes, when the guy who accused him of accepting bribes has admitted that he made it all up. Yeah, and they will still insist that whereas Trump with his cryptocurrency is now worth billions more than he was worth when he started.
Let's be honest, crypto is a scam.
It's a complete scam. Well, and it's just a legalized way of bribing the president, right? Yeah. You can just go and buy.
By the way, I just bought 2 million of your crypto. Can I get a meeting with you?
Well, and he had that dinner with like the top 100 or whatever holders of his cryptocurrency. I mean, people are just buying access.
Yep. And then this.
It's like blatant.
This last week we heard the story about Tom Homan, who's his border czar, who
small beans accepting $50,000 in cash, isn't it?
This was the FBI were investigating him before the election took place, and
because he was offering to sell access if Donald Trump got in,
and he took. Allegedly, what we have heard, he took $50,000 in cash from these undercover FBI agents in order to get access, and then they were waiting until he would get in power to see if he would do anything, actually get in touch and say, right, do you want to have this meeting since you've given me the $50,000? And then the case disappears once Trump gets in. I mean, the corruption is epic.
Off the charts.
So much so that you can't keep up with what is going on, which I guess that's part of the
normalization of this, right? Yeah. That is very typical of authoritarian regimes.
Yeah.
Is the corruption is off the charts.
So that's going on over in the States, and then you just think that what reform over here, which is the kind of
Trump wannabes.
Yeah, the far right kind of party over here that is gaining traction.
Although you wonder how much traction they're gaining, because the BBC is hyping them and you get all of this information about them.
Indeed.
Right? So is it real or is it a mirage or what is it exactly?
We'll only find out when there's an election. But so Nigel Farage had an interview on LBC this week with Nick Ferrari, who's quite
right wing.
Yeah, he's right wing himself. So it was a
sympathetic interview,
gentle, I would say, kind of interview. But what I've got a wee clip here because Nick Ferrari brought up the cats and dogs whole thing from a year ago.
Immigrants are eating.
Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs. And
blatantly racist, blatantly a lie.
Here's a wee clip from CNN with J.D. Vance where he kind of he talks a bit about it. So let me see if I can get this to open up here.
You, again, started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because...
So there you go. If I have to create
if I have
stories,
to lie,
if I've got to make up stories in order to, I'm going to
get the media to talk about what I want them to talk about. Yeah. And of course, I think it's worth saying that this complete lie about immigrants eating cats and dogs ended up with threats against these immigrants. I mean, he was lying about these people and then endangering them because they rile up their followers to go after, right? Yeah. I mean, it's really, really dangerous.
Yeah. So this came up with Nigel Farage, exactly this. So this is. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
No. All right. This would be good to get your reaction to what he says here.
Now, you said there's normally a kernel of truth to what the president says. I challenged you exactly a year ago about these comments. Is he onto something?
Whenever he says something like this that sounds absolutely crackers, in the end, there always proves to be some truth in it.
You think Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs?
I'll have a tenner with you. That within the next month or so, we find some evidence of it. What the scale of it is, I've no idea.
But you do think some cats and dogs are being eaten in Springfield, Ohio?
I think Trump generally, when he says these things, is proved to be right.
So I said I'd give you a month. It's 12 months. The idea that Haitians are eating cats and dogs in Springfield. If you can prove it, I've got my £10 ready.
Well, if you can prove it hasn't happened, the other way around.
Are you prepared now to say that one was utterly nonsensical?
If I said to you that swans were being eaten in royal parks in this country, that carp were being taken out of ponds and eaten in this country by people who come from cultures that have a different... Would you agree it's happening here?
I've certainly read... I didn't know about swans. I've read about carp being fished.
Well, there you go. So, look... neither of us can prove or disprove.
Who are taking the carp and the swans?
People who come from countries where that's quite acceptable.
Well, I've read headlines that it's Eastern Europeans, Romanians and people like that.
I believe.
Is that what you've heard?
So I believe.
So
it's a similar sort of story.
Similar story.
They're eating our carp, they're eating our swans.
But, I'm not saying that. I'm just putting it back as an argument.
All right, I don't get my £10?
Well, I should get my £10 because you can't prove the other way either.
Chris, thank you.
So, see what he's doing there? I mean, it's clever in a way, right? He's positing something that you cannot disprove.
Yes, I mean, which means he can say anything and then say, prove to me that I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, and it's all just a big laugh. It's a big laugh.
But yet, he's mentioning specific groups of people who then
Eastern Europeans.
Who then are going to be put at risk. Yep. It's so dangerous. This is so dangerous.
So it's worth saying that the Royal Parks put out a statement saying there is no evidence of any of this.
They're just talking off the top of their heads.
Yeah, the RSPCA had an announcement saying that there is a 15-year-old video that is apparently doing the rounds, but there is no evidence of anything kind of systematic or anything like that going on. So this is a non-story, but it's this creating a narrative against
and then when people have to start then saying it's not true, then you're talking about it more, and then people are like, oh, no smoke without fire, right? And then that becomes, you're talking about creating narratives. You're very effectively creating narratives which depend on demonizing another group of people, right? And oh, gosh.
This
is not the kind of world that we want to be creating, right?
It is not.
It's just the opposite.
But it is... I mean, this is what the right wing are so good at creating a framework, a narrative framework in which everything else hangs. I'll put this up on screen, this wee chart here, a wee diagram. And this was work that was done by an organization, I think it was back in 2021 actually, looking at about 500 different kind of news articles or news stories, like TV stuff or print stuff, and then coming up with the kind of what the common story themes that they saw, and so you see all of these going on, don't you? Racialize the working class as white, present whiteness as the disadvantage that affects the working class, portray equality as a zero-sum game of winners and losers. I mean, you see Trump doing that all the time.
Set up scapegoats for society's problems, point the finger at people of color, migrants, and families struggling to make ends meet.
Don't talk about people of color or migrants as working class. So you try to create, this narrative of the folks that are not the same as you. Make sure you kind of keep this divide between. Yeah. Manufacturing a common enemy. Use the catch-all phrase woke to identify the enemy. All this sort of stuff. So it's a good kind of, you see that all there, you're like, ooh, yeah. I mean, that's exactly the stuff what's been happening for a long time. So being aware of it, seeing it just on the chart there, then you can identify it whenever you see it. You're like, oh yeah, that's what's going on there. And Farage is
playing into it.
Oh,
right?
He is absolutely just using the Trump playbook here, isn't he?
Oh,
I mean, it's the same language. It's the same,
Yeah.
So, and all of this acts to distract us from what we really should be concentrating on, which is the economic plight of folks in our nations, in our countries around the world.
Which is caused by the fact that the last 40 years has seen the vast majority of productivity gains being that are created by us, the working class people, that have almost all gone to the richest, now like 1 or 2% of the population, right? So there's plenty of money for everyone, but the richest have made sure that it is all going up to them, and there's not enough down for everybody else. And so they need us to be pointing fingers at each other and fighting with each other instead of focusing on where the real problem is.
Yeah. I would say working class and middle class in that.
Oh, yeah. And, definitely. Thinking of all of us as workers who make our living.
Those who are part of the kind of economic system. Contributors to it rather than those who suck it dry
for rent takers, right?
Yes, indeed, rather than the rent payers. So that kind of, it brings you around to then what is the alternative when
what do we do about it?
Yeah, the right are, and the Trumps and Farages of this world. Part of why there is a charisma to them is that they are storytellers. Now, that story is grim for my reading.
And dangerous.
Excuse me.
Not nice to be sick.
As you say, it's dangerous, but it speaks to where people
and it's easy to understand, isn't it? Yeah. It's very simple. Those people are causing all the problems. Let's get rid of those people and all your problems will be solved, right? Yeah. That's a pretty simple narrative, and it sounds, okay, that sounds reasonable. Yeah. Let's do that. And I have a lot of problems, and people do. People are struggling, cost of living, trying to find jobs, right? There's just so much going on that's difficult for people. So, you can understand why people want an easy answer.
So the challenge is finding so they create a narrative framework around which everything else then hangs, and that story is a story about blaming the other, and then all these other things kind of hang off that. It's how you create a positive narrative where a sense of solidarity, of working together, is seen as positive. I still think like Bernie Sanders is
so
fantastic
good
at doing that, because he's able to speak to folks at any
And at any level of society. It's just very unpretentious, isn't he?
Indeed,
and real with people.
Lays out what the issues are, listens to where folks are, and then has a response to them that is understandable and not filled with sort of technocratic jargon or anything, but he's
doesn't
able
talk
to
down
speak.
to people.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You just
You
wonder how things would have been different if he'd won the nomination in 2016. We'd be in a better timeline maybe now.
I still think about it frequently. I saw him just in a recent video. He was going, and I can't remember which town it was, but it was
in West Virginia. I saw that. It was somewhere in West Virginia.
Did you watch it as well?
I did see that. Yeah.
And so it was a younger person kind of driving him around and meeting with other people. Then he spoke to a.
And we should say West Virginia is the second reddest state in the country. I mean, it went for Trump by 2/3 or something crazy.
Would have been Democrat.
Years ago, yeah.
So in years past, when it was, because it's a big
the coal mines,
it's a big mining area, so it was heavily unionized, and so that would have been strongly Democrat in the years up to up through. And I just listening to him speaking
with
to
them, wasn't he? In a really real way, and they
were reacting to what he had to say.
Positively to what he had to say.
Yeah. And it was so many folks saying you are not what I expected. You're not what I was told you were.
Yeah.
As in when I'm watching Fox News and they talk about you, they
as
talk about
scary
you as the demon.
Yeah.
And here you are saying sensible things
that I agree with.
And that, I mean, that's the crux of this, isn't it? Is finding the common ground.
But some of it is then how do you heal people? Because people have so much of their lives invested in the narratives they're hearing from Fox News, and you see it in the whole Charlie Kirk thing. These personas on the right wing. They have a following. They've created loyalty. So how do you break into that in a meaningful way and say, look, these people are lying to you, right? And I've had that conversation. I tried to have that conversation with family members who marinate themselves in Fox News, and they can't hear a word I'm saying, right? Yeah. You're listening. They just. Right. So it's really hard. How do you break in? I mean, he's very good at it. I wish I was better at it.
Yeah. Well, I wish the Democratic Party or others were better at it and creating an alternative narrative, because you just have to be able to provide a positive story.
Vision,
and a vision of society, a vision of how we live with each other. And that's, of course, partly why we're talking about these things is that sense of a world in which loving kindness,
people are kind to each other,
and then what does that mean? How does that work itself out?
And that we're voting for politicians who we're wanting to create laws that create and enable a kinder society, right? Not a dog eat dog. Survival of the fittest kind of society, right? We want a kind society, a society where people take care of each other and care about each other, and that is how we interact, which is not where we are at the moment at all, right? Certainly the States isn't. I mean, it's so polarized.
But it would seem from polling here in the UK and in the United States still. I mean, on sort of social issues, there generally would be a desire. I mean, when folks are really asked about healthcare and things, generally folks do want better healthcare that is more sensible and works itself out. It's just that the politicians can't bring it about because of whatever reason. Money,
and we've also, the States has just descended into tribalism. Right. And I think because it's this two-party system, and you're part of one tribe or you're part of the other, I think in a way, we're not there because there's so many parties, right? And there's more floating between parties. I know I've voted since I've been here for 3 different parties, right? Depending on who I thought had the best chance to win or whatever. But it's so tribal, everything is so tribal in the States. And I know I've mentioned it before, but James Tallarico in Texas, and he is running for the Senate. And I saw a speech that he gave, and he's trying to create that positive narrative. Yeah. He's like, are you worried about putting food on your table? Well, I am too. Yeah. Are you struggling with debt? Credit card or student debt or medical debt. I am too, right? So I definitely think he's someone to watch. And I think, you want more Democrats need to be, and reaching back to what Barack Obama said at, his breakthrough speech at the Democratic Convention, there's not a red America, there's not a blue America, we're the United States of America. And then of course there's this massive backlash to the fact that it's a black man saying that and then gets in power, and we didn't want a black man, right? Groups of Americans not happy about a black family in the White House. But that's and one of the reasons why Barack Obama was such a successful politician is he was a very good storyteller in his very kind of deliberate, professorial kind of way, an amazing storyteller. So we need,
and he had, and of course, hope was his big
the audacity
message.
Of hope.
Yeah,
I know.
And I suppose that's the strange. I mean, the MAGA, Make America Great Again, sounds like it's a positive message, but actually, it is this, as in common with autocratic states that go in, start down this path, it is this harking back to a golden time that never existed.
Or let's be honest, this golden time that they're harking back to is when Jim Crow laws were in place, when women had many fewer rights. Right? Yeah. I mean, so this golden age certainly wasn't golden age for minorities, right? Or for women, or it was straight white men, So I mean, it's But yes, we need to get much better.
I wonder if we should maybe look out for next week some clips of Tallarico.
Yes, I think
because that would be really good to see a younger, positive kind of somebody.
I love listening to him. Message. I think he has such a positive message, and he's a really appealing deliverer of that message. I think he just has a very gentle, kind way about him. That, I mean, I certainly respond positively to it, but I think that I think that his manner, it's easier for people from across the political divide to respond positively to him. I think he's
okay. Well, let's have a look at that next time. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So my topic is the Great British Bake Off.
Oh.
Which I've started watching.
There's a new series.
There's a new series. I'm a few weeks behind. I watched the first one last night, which when we finish taping, I'm going to go watch another one tonight. And it's quite like, so for anyone who doesn't know, most people will, but a bunch of bakers, and every week they make a variety of things, and the judges have someone leave, and then at the very end, someone wins, and it's very similar to the.
So each episode,
someone leaves,
and then you end up with the kind of final.
You end up with a winner,
3 people or something.
Yeah, and then a final winner, and it's similar to the Great Pottery Throwdown, which we started watching when your cousin Lucinda was on it, which was fun, and everyone watched it with me. Then I'm the only one who still watches it, but I love it, and it's very similar. The potters make several things, just like the bakers do, and every week someone does leave, and then there are 4 finalists, I think, and then a final winner. But I love it because everyone is so kind to each other. Even though they're competing against each other, they are genuinely pleased for each other when they get good comments from the judges. And if someone has a disaster, they comfort each other and they try to help. If someone is running out of time and someone has finished, they'll pitch in and help. And it's the same with the pottery. And when people are chosen to leave, you see genuine sadness from the contestants who are staying because they become such good friends, even though they're in this competition. And it is just like a soul cleanse to watch it. And I really, really enjoy it. I don't watch much TV, but I love it. And I really love it because they're just so nice to each other. And it's... In the world that we live in, it's nice to see kindness, genuine kindness.
So it is a stark contrast to the show Traitors.
And The Apprentice.
Or The Apprentice.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of those.
So quite...
Yeah, so of course, the Apprentice with the Trump connection.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, but we have our own version in the UK. But it's so confrontational and
cutthroat
competitive
and then when they get into the boardroom, they're just they attack each other and they're nasty, right? To try to convince Lord Sugar to keep them and send someone else home, and it's just not so nice.
So I remember when we first started watching The Apprentice. In fact, I remember my mother. I think she was the one that said, "Oh, you should watch it." Should watch it, and partly it was like if you've never been in business, when the first, I mean, it has changed over the years, kind of but it was just remarkable to see like folks doing their sort of sales, pitches, and if you're not really into that, it was like, whoa, that is astonishing. So there was a kind of eye-opening quality to it initially.
Since we're not business people.
No. So that oh yeah, that's right. We never did our subscribe at the beginning of this, did we? We said at the last one, we should do that at the beginning.
Hit like and subscribe.
Yeah. Ayo. So, and then on the Traitors show, our kids had recommended it because were loving it and got us to watch it. And I kind of enjoyed
interesting.
it. I mean, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
I enjoyed it for a bit, and then as it kind of went on, I started to feel more and more uncomfortable watching it.
Well, and everyone's lying to each other, and then they're betraying their friends, and then friends who are being betrayed feel very betrayed, and they feel very hurt, and it's just the opposite of what you get with the Bake Off and Pottery Throwdown.
Yeah, I mean. Are you seeing you're seeing there the two different sides of humanity playing themselves out? What I don't know is which of these shows has the better ratings.
Yes, I don't know, but anyone watching, I'm sure people already watch the Great British Bake Off, but if you don't watch the Great Pottery Throwdown, you really, really should. It's amazing what they make. Yeah. And it is just, I mean, the judges are lovely. Like one of the judges, I'm blanking on their names, I do know. But one of the judges will just, when someone has done something where they've really put their heart and soul into it, and he'll like bubble up with tears and the emotion's genuine. He's just so pleased for them that they've just created this masterpiece for themselves. And it's just... It's really nice. Show. So if you don't watch it, that's a little plug. I'm not sure. Maybe in the spring, it might start in the spring. But anyway, there will be back shows you can go and watch, and it's just lovely.
It is. No, fair.
You gonna watch with me this year?
Oh, maybe we'll. Yeah. No, I have dropped in and watched occasional episodes with you. Yeah, I know.
Anyway, well worth a watch.
Good. Right, I thought we'd just talk about something that's taking place in Scotland in later next month, partly because we had a regional kind of pre-meeting, a public meeting for a campaign called Scotland Demands Better, which is a nationwide campaign in Scotland trying to, I think there's over 200 different organizations that have kind of affiliated with the Poverty Alliance, and the Church of Scotland is one of those. I saw that one of your old employers, Aberlour, was one of them as well. So there's quite a few. When I'm looking through the list of folks that are there, and really the goal of this is try to put pressure on the Scottish Parliament to enact changes to legislation that will make a lot of what we've been talking about. A more equitable
society.
Yeah, a more equitable society. So here is the kind of practical dimension to
what
this.
What you can do of get involved.
Yeah. So the meeting we had on Tuesday up here in Aberdeen, we had some different speakers and then a kind of Q&A time after it. Yeah, I thought some of the questions that were, discussion points that were raised afterwards.
You could tell people knew their stuff and had really been thinking about things, right? And,
absolutely.
And wanted to be involved in pushing positive change for Scotland as a whole, And
there was a good variety of folks there.
All different ages.
Yeah,
and
different ages there.
Backgrounds looked like,
Yeah. So that was really positive. I mean, the culmination of it is going to be a march on the 25th of October, Saturday, 25th of October, in Edinburgh, kind of down the Royal Mile to the Parliament building.
So it'd be nice to get a much better turnout than these right-wing rallies are getting.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to see,
a positive message. I mean, it's a challenging message because it's challenging changes to, like rules around working, the living wage, 0-hour contracts, all this sort of thing that are having a negative impact on society,
people's lives,
but have been allowed to come in because of the kind of financial benefit for companies in doing that. But I'm trying to say, wait a minute, let's
this is really
this.
bad for people.
Yeah.
So destabilizing.
There's a website which has got details on it, and they have some interesting policy documents on kind of different areas that they're trying to target. I thought it was worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to, we can talk about wanting to see change, but then you actually need to get involved in kind of the grassroots organizations that are working for change. And the more of us that get involved, the more likely we are to get somewhere positive. And
yes, I mean, we had amongst the folks that was speaking, we had somebody from a trade union council, somebody who was working in the community in Tillydrone, which is quite an area with quite a high level of deprivation in Aberdeen. The president of the National Union of Students of Scotland, and then yours truly for representing the Church of Scotland. But what I thought was, coming from these different aspects, there was so much common ground.
Oh, yeah. Everyone was definitely singing from the same end sheet,
Yeah. And it was, this desire to see something better
for everybody,
and a more fair
for everyone
society.
In society, for everyone in Scotland, not just some groups.
Yeah.
But everyone.
And, there was no doubt about it. There was a challenge there for those who hoard wealth, those who have most within society were being challenged by everyone that was speaking. Those were speaking from the floor as well. But in a society that is healthy and doing well, those who have plenty will still be doing fine.
Yeah, they'll still be doing fine.
That is the thing.
Yeah.
They are not going to be hurting. You just wish maybe they would see that and help to make this happen.
Yeah.
And that, I'm just going back to Bernie Sanders. I remember, this probably would have been around the time that he was, when the primaries were happening, and it was kind of between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton at that point. It was on one of the more right-wing Fox Business or something like that. There was an interview, and there was. This was on their kind of economics side of it, and one of the folks that was there who is fabulously wealthy, and was talking about Bernie Sanders' policies, which usually were ridiculed on the right, and he rarely amongst those commentating said, no, he has it absolutely right. And
there is that organization, isn't it? That like there's a millionaires who are saying, no, you need to tax us. Like this doesn't.
And it's the simple thing that if you give way more money to a million, they cannot spend it all. No. Whereas a small increase in the salaries for everyone else, they're going to spend it.
Yeah, and it's going to go into the economy.
And the economy will ramp up in a way that it doesn't. Because you know, if everyone is... a millionaire only can have so many cars.
Yes.
Or
you'd be surprised.
They can have lots, but it's not the same as every family having a car.
It's not.
You know?
Anyway.
It was just that sense of fairness. So that is marching up. And there'll be more.
A plug for the.
Mm-hmm.
March
be an encouragement for people to. You got a
month.
Along.
Got a month to get your plans made.
Banners made, or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then join the solidarity for a better country for Scotland. Amen to that.
Sounds good.
All right. Enough for this week, do you think?
I think so. Great British Bake Off is calling.
The editing suite is calling for me.
Yeah. Better you than me.
All right. See you all next week.
Bye. Everyone.